And then she gonna go to the mouth too? I was a horrible mother. Horrible. I was a great father. You want to know the worst energy to emasculate a man? Can I show you?
What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I am back again with another video. Now, I want to say this. On the coattails of the interview that Cam Newton had with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, he ended up actually having an interview recently with Reverend Dr. Iyanla Vanzant. And, you know, I have to be honest, the interview and the way in which the two of them were able to communicate was very refreshing. And in my personal opinion, I feel like you could feel the love through the screen, right? You could feel the their ability to have the conversation in a sense that you know, any information between both parties would be well received, again, based off of the dynamics of the conversation. Now, before we get into it, I do want to just touch bases on that interview that Cam Newton did with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And I want to say that, you know, as much as there was a lot of ego stroking in that video, as much as there was a lot of, you know, her trying to kind of soften the situation, I believe that when a woman is in her truest form or in her truest nature, it's something that you can feel. Right? It's not something that you can put on. It doesn't matter how soft you speak. It does not matter the tone in which you try to say things. You can feel when somebody is in their truest form and in their loving, maternal, nurturing, feminine energy. And that is exactly what Dr. Iyanla Vanzant exuded throughout this entire interview, while also holding women accountable to the utmost, which you guys know I'm all for it. Okay?
I was a horrible mother. Horrible. I was a great father.
Ooh, hold on. No, we gotta unpack that.
Now, one of the first clips that I saw that went viral from this entire situation was Dr. Iyanla talking about, you know, the fact that she was a horrible mother, but a great father to her children, which, you know, was a very, you know, weird, strange, nerve-wracking, astounding for Cam Newton to hear. And he asked her to expand on it. And when she did, I feel like it spoke about so many women who are in situations, who are raising children out of frustration, out of anger, and not out of being able to truly be feminine and nurturing their children in the way that only a woman can.
I did the providing. I did the protecting. I did the, you know, guiding, and I didn't do the nourishing, the nurturing, the affirming. I didn't do that.
Now, the reason why I loved that Dr. Iyanla said this is because, you know, there are so many women who are operating, again, out of frustration, out of anger, and because the man is not in the situation in the way in which maybe they would have wanted him to be, or because they put themselves in these situations, let's be honest, knowing that that man was not going to be around, but they decided to have the baby anyway because they were having the baby for themselves because their body, their choice. You know, regardless of the situation, I think that it just exposed a lot of the dynamics that people actually and genuinely go through. And, you know, it opened up a conversation that we don't have all the time, right? There's always conversations about deadbeat daddy. There's always conversations about how men ain't this and men ain't that. There's always conversations about, you know, the effect of fatherless, you know, kids being fatherless and fatherless children. But we never talk about that, even though there are women who stay. And I want to say this, and I'm going to break it down because I don't want it to come off the wrong way. But we always talk about the fact that the women stayed and took care of their children. Again, their body, their choice. They chose to do this. But we never talk about the manner in which they chose to stay. Right? And so the manner in which you choose to stay matters. If you are choosing to be a parent because you was trying to quote unquote trap this person, or you're choosing to be a parent because you don't believe in certain things, but at the same regard, the children are suffering based off of your actions towards them and are being exposed to so much trauma because of the fact that you really don't want to do it, we also have to talk about that too. You know, it's very rare that there's ever a conversation about people having, you know, deadbeat moms or moms who are there who treated them poorly because they were frustrated that the child looked just like the daddy. But these are necessary conversations that need to be had. Very necessary. There are women who will stand in spaces and who will separate the child away from their father out of spite, but in actuality, based off of statistics we've already seen, that children who grow up in the household with their father are better off than children who grow up in single mother households. There are women who will, you know, stand in the gap and, as I said, cause a wedge between children and father. Oh, well, you know, you got to give me this amount if you're going to see your kids, or, you know, you got to do this for me if you're going to see your children. But those same children, although that man possibly did not even want them with you, those children are better off in the hands being with that father than they are with you, because men know how to compartmentalize emotions. That's real. Men know how to deal in situations and say, okay, you look like your mom or you acting like your mom, but that has nothing to do with this because you're my child and I'm going to raise you as my child to the best of my ability because you didn't ask to be here. You see that logic thing that men have and, you know, naturally wired in their brain? It always comes up when children are in the picture, when they are willing to play their part as a father. There's so many conversations of quote unquote deadbeat daddy, but if we actually rewind the tape and get to, you know, the root of the situation, a lot of these children that grew up because of, you know, deadbeat daddies, because the mama didn't want to fool with him no more. She ain't want to mess with him. She tried to take him for child support instead of working amicably with that man. You know, he said he didn't want no children. She said she wanted them. They forced the baby upon him. You know, whenever the children are involved with the father, the woman tries to insert herself into the dynamic. And so he can't deal directly with his children because she want to be in the mix. We have to have these conversations. Because so many men are getting this title wrongfully, when the person who is pulling the puppet strings in the background is really the mama. Let's talk about it.
So I didn't have time to wipe boo-boos and bake cookies and tell you how cute you are and how much I love you. Come on, let's get this done. We got to go.
One thing that I thought was so influential that Iyanla said, and before I even get any deeper into this conversation, you guys know, like, you know, when I first started talking about the likes of Shahar Ali, who I was introduced to by Kevin Samuels, you know, I went back, I did a whole series reacting to a lot of her videos, which I might bring back that series and redo it again because I feel like there was a lot of value in those conversations. But Iyanla actually was at some kind of, I think it was the TV show Geraldo, and Iyanla was in the audience, and she was actually talking against Shahrazad Ali when Shahrazad Ali's book came out and she was on her book tour.
My name is Iyanla Vanzant, and I am a Yoruba priestess and a cultural custodian. This is not our culture. This book is anti-cultural, anti-African, and anti-historical. Wait a minute.
We are out of order.
Our ancestors have said that our key to our growth is love. This book contains no love. It doesn't encourage love. It doesn't support love. And it dismisses the most loving force on this earth, the African woman.
Now, in me being a person who appreciates growth and appreciates elevation, you know, I don't believe that at that time that Iyanla was saying those things, that she even knew herself that she would be in the position to now turn back around and say, you know, black women are so out of order. Because I think that, you know, the angle that Shahrazad Ali was coming from and the angle that Iyanla Vanzant were coming from, maybe it was two different avenues, or maybe Iyanla was not there yet at the time, but it was a similar aim. Right? And the aim is getting women to be in alignment with who they are truly supposed to be. Women being in alignment with who they truly are, and not putting on the, you know, the armor or the clothing of a man because of the situations that you are placed in. You can still be placed in certain situations and deal with it and still be a woman.
You want us to know the worst energy to emasculate a man. Can I show you?
Please. As a woman.
As a woman.
In our culture, our Black culture, I do believe that a lot of the women right now who are single, who are feminists, who are suffering, and I'm not saying that all women who are single are suffering. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying, in the predicament that we are in now, where women are talking about, I'm so glad I don't got nobody's son stressing me out. I'm so glad that I'm in this situation that I'm in, that, I don't got to worry about this and worry about that. A lot of these women who are using coping mechanisms, a lot of these women are becoming the men that they are not able to attract.
And then she gonna go to the mouth too?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, it's violence.
A lot of these women are becoming the men in which they are not able to bring in their household. And again, culturally, this is the thing. There are a lot of women from different backgrounds, from different situations, and even some Black women, I would not say the majority of, Black women that we see who are in certain situations, whether they have a tumultuous marriage, whether they have a tricky situation, or whether they are a single mother from whatever dynamic, majority of the Black women, they deal with it by trying to become a man. Whereas you can see other women are still the mother in those situations. And ironically enough, a lot of the women who maintain being the woman and the mother and do the nurturing part, it is easier for them to then transition and get into relationships that then garner positive stepfathers or men who come in and step into the role of being the man of the house and the father to these children, or the guidance to these children, because there is nobody who is already in that role. A lot of these women want the man, but they're so busy in that role of being the man. How can he has nowhere to fit. He can't fit in. He can't step into that space. He can't be there how you would want him to be there, because you are already functioning within that dynamic. There's no room for another man. You're already the man of the house. There's no room for somebody to provide structure and guidance, because you're already doing that. So what place does he have? These are already not his children. Make matters worse, you acting like a man. So what place does he have? I think that's a necessary part of the conversation. And I loved the fact that she exposed that and talked about that, because that is a harsh truth that a lot of women are not willing to speak up about themselves. And I loved her for saying that. Another thing that Iyanla talked about was the true nature that women have, and our nature as women, and where our power resides.
There's nothing that we as women can't do when we understand who we are. But this ain't who we are. You know who we are?
Yes, love.
When she made the gestures, she said so much without saying anything. This is not who we are. This is who we are. And, so often, whether you look at movies, whether you look at society, the picture that is painted of Black women is to be this, right? You got to have the attitude. You got to be able to, tear somebody down. Sister Shahar Ali said it the best. Nobody can out-argue a Black woman. It's not going to happen. They're going to have the last word. They're going to say anything. They're going to pick up stuff. They're going to talk about your granny, your daddy. Like, they are going to nitpick and get there and get you with their mouth. But that's not where the power resides. The power of a woman truly resides in your ability to overstand situations. Your ability to internalize things that are happening and deciphering it within your mind to say, okay, I know that this person is saying this because of this. I know that this person is doing that because of that, because our nurturing nature as women allows us to have a brain that kind of works like a computer. Right? It's the same way that, when somebody comes to, your house as a woman, you over here like, okay, you cleaning the baseboards, you cleaning, the ceiling, you cleaning all kind of stuff, thinking that people are going to go there. But it's just your consideration of how your home looks and how it appeals and the comfort it's going to provide to other people. The same way that, most of the time women are the ones who place orders, whether it's at drive-through, whether it's at a restaurant, because they are able to compartmentalize, okay, this person doesn't like that person doesn't like this person wants no sauce. Like, we are able to do these things. We are able to multitask in the sense that we can understand a person's feelings, a person's emotions, understand them, and be able to maneuver or nurture in a certain way. I say it all the time on this channel, but also in real life, that people have talked about it so much. Oh, Rivah, you don't like women. You don't like that you're a woman. You got to talk about yourself too because you're a woman. I absolutely love the fact that I was created and made a woman. I love that. Okay? The femininity, the power in which we possess when we're being ourselves, when we're not trying to fit into the realm of being a man, when we are true to ourselves, a woman who has evolved, the calm nature that we provide to a space, that sense of home that we provide to our family structure. Also, the way in which we can nurture each other. We can see a woman outside and she's snot-nosed crying, and we can, comfort her. We can comfort somebody else's child. The way in which we are just being women is so beautiful. But again, we have so many women who are putting on the armor of men and trying to make it work in relationships and trying to make it work in household dynamics, when how can you do that? Where is a man going to fit in? And you say you want a strong man, you say you want an alpha man, do you? Because all you're going to attract is a man who is going to allow you to have the reins. You
have just taken him down.
Another thing that Iyanla got into that I absolutely adored was when she talked about how Black women, us as women, how, it is easy for a woman to emasculate a man and the stance in which she takes to do so.
You got all of this open, your nurturing center, your birthing center, your sexual center, and you standing at full mass, warrior stand. What are you going to do with this?
And the way in which she broke it down, talking about the actual dynamic of the way in which you're standing there and presenting yourself to this man, kind of like a mama to her child, trying to talk to your man like a boy. That's something that a lot of Black women culturally have a hard time working with. And again, it stems back to how they were raised in the dynamics of their household with their own mother. A lot of it stems from the way in which their mother would talk to them. And so they believe that to function as a woman, that is the way in which you are supposed to talk to everybody in your household. The man, the children, the dog, the cat, the fish, whoever it is, that is the way in which you're supposed to articulate yourself, because they looked at that growing up as that was a sense of power. I'm gonna stand here, I'm gonna tell you about yourself, I'm gonna show you that I know more than you, and that is not your power as a woman. Your power as a woman is your ability to effectively communicate to your spouse in the way in which he will be able to hear it and absorb it. When you start doing all of this, when you stand up there strong, when you start coming at him and it feels like an attack, there's not going to be anything positive that comes out of that situation. He don't hear you. All he hears is Charlie Brown, want, want, want. He don't want to be around you. He wants to leave. You're now just, adding bricks on top of the situation, giving him more ammo to look at you in disgust. He doesn't want to deal with you in that frame. And it's so important and vital for women to understand how to deal with their counterpart. If you keep talking down to him, if you keep giving him an attitude, if you keep popping your neck and rolling your eyes and pointing your finger in his face, and he is not receiving the information, don't you think that you should try something different? A lot of people talk about these women, they're doormats and they just let a man say whatever they want to. You would be surprised. A lot of those women are heard and are comfortable in their situations, again, because of the way that they know how to articulate themselves with their spouse. It doesn't fall on deaf ears. Their man hears them. So much so that any request that she has, he will jump happily to deal with it. because she doesn't stress him out. A lot of women lean on the, I'm going to stress him out, and if he don't like it, who cares? He going to have to deal with it, and oh well. Oh, okay, well, you can do that. How's that working for you? I can guarantee it's not.
And then she gonna go to the mouth too?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, it's violence.
It's
And
true.
now if he's triggered and he's not controlled and he pushes, slaps, whatever, now it's a mess.
I think that what Iyanla talked about, the violence of the mouth and how it can also lead to the violence coming from their counterpart. I think it's something that a lot of people shy away from and they don't like to talk about because they feel like it's victim blaming. And I think that accountability does not care where your address is. Okay? Accountability does not care the situation. If you have to be accountable for your actions, you do have to. And I think that there's a lot of women who are able to stand in certain situations, and because they are not physically touching someone, they believe that they are not causing any harm or causing any damage to their situation, but verbally abusing somebody and physically abusing somebody. Why would they have counselors for both of those things if they were both not severe? And a lot of women have gotten away with the verbal abuse. A lot of women have gotten away with saying all kinds of things. A lot of women have gotten into situations that they do whatever, and they know that at the end of the day, they will provoke you to wrath and call the police and say it was you who did something. The man told you get out the way, you blocked the door. The man told you he don't want to talk about it, he need a breather, you get in his face and you telling him, you gonna have to listen to me and I'm not gonna move. Sometimes even more than the mouth, you will get into a man's face and you mushing him in his face and you touching him, talk about hit me. We have to talk about these things. Because again, a lot of the women who are walking around carrying this disdain for men, it's because of their inability to look within themselves and see the parts that they had to play within the situation. It's easier to blame all men, blame your baby daddy, blame your ex, blame all these people. It's easier to deflect and do that than to look into yourself and say, I'm the problem. I was tripping. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have moved that way. I was wrong for doing that. It's the truth. And again, the way in which Iyanla spoke and the way in which she was so adamant on holding women accountable, the way in which it was, she's talking about it and she's staying on point and not trying to deflect from the situation. I think these conversations are what further deeper conversations within the community. Not pointing blame, not coming in with a feminist narrative of I could do better by myself and these men are beneath me and I would never do this and you like this. To me, that is just exalting a woman above the man, which is something that I don't agree with. I'm just going to be honest. And what I'm talking about is just, again, referencing the conversation and the vast difference between Reverend Dr. Iyanla Vanzant with Cam Newton compared to Dr. Cheyenne Bryan. In my personal opinion, I feel like it was very similar. Dr. Cheyenne Bryan's, message was very similar to, I know how to get what I want. I know how to play the role to make it seem as though I'm this kind of woman to get this kind of outcome. And Dr. Iyanla Vanzant is just exuding it and being it. There's a difference. There's a difference. I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I would love to hear you guys' opinions on this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.